Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys are doing wonderful. Hopefully, all you guys are doing well. Today is October 23rd, and there is now a cat on my desk. But it's definitely been a very interesting day in the news world. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. All the support is greatly appreciated as we are trying to hit 500 subscribers before the end of the year on YouTube. And if you're on Substack, please also consider subscribing as well. All funds go to me. I hope my pay for the things that I need to pay for in college, like my groceries, like clothing, like all of that. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. I truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. This cat is being a turd. Everyone say hello. I just got food before I started recording and I didn't finish it, and now he's trying to eat it. Um, But hey, he can go over there. Anyways, hopefully all you guys are doing wonderful. Let's get into the news from today. Moving on into our first topic for today, as the highlight of the day is 36 states plan to cut off food aid in November. Starting November 1st, millions of low income Americans will lose food aid in 36 states, as those states have warned that cuts of SNAP benefits are coming due to the government shutdown. These states include Alaska, Hawaii, California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Maine. This will leave more than 40 million Americans without food assistance during the holiday season and could lead to people starving. The Trump administration has the ability to stop this, yet they likely will not. They can transfer the funds needed to assist more than 40 million Americans in getting food. They did the same thing with WIC earlier this month. It would only cost them $16 billion to feed Americans for the last 2 months of the year, which is less than half of what they are currently sending to Argentina. There is definitely funds to pay for that within the federal government, yet Trump is likely going to leave Americans to starve while he builds his new ballroom. Oh, and just to take a second to remind you all, the only two countries that voted against making food a human right were Israel and the United States. The only two. If that wasn't the case, food would be a human right now. Unfortunately, that is just not the case. Anyways, moving on into the Trump administration segment, the first topic we have today is Trump plans to update the presidential bunker. The presidential bunker under the East Wing will be renovated as well by the Trump administration. The bunker serves as a shelter and communications center for the president if there is an emergency that he needs to be protected from. There are no details about what they plan to change about this bunker, but this follows a change with the entire East Wing as a whole, which is currently not existing or non-existent. I guess that would be the proper term. There is no way that this is necessary at all. I cannot wait for taxpayer dollars to fund all of this rather than Trump's donors. But hey, isn't it going to be wonderful to witness things get redone that didn't even need to be redone in the first place? While people are starving too is insane. Genuinely, it is. How about instead of a ballroom and a bunker, we help Americans put food on their tables? That would be nice, wouldn't it? What about we, use all that funds that are supposed to go to the ballroom to help protect Americans and to help make sure Americans don't starve during the holiday seasons? Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, it sure would be, but Trump doesn't care about that. In other news, the full list of Trump ballroom donors has been released. The list of those donating to Trump's ballroom has been released. This list reads as followed. The Altaria Group Incorporated, Amazon, Apple, Booz Allen Hamilton, Caterpillar Inc., Coinbase, Comcast Corporation, J. Pepe and Amelia Fanjul, Hard Rock International, Google, HP Inc., Lockheed Martin, Meta Platforms, Micron Technology, Microsoft, Next Era Energy Inc., Planeteer Technologies Inc., Ripple, Reynolds American, T-Mobile, Tether American, Union Pacific Railroad, Adolescent Family Foundation, Stefan E. Brody, Betty World Johnson or Word, Johnson Foundation, sorry, Charles and Marissa Kazkaria, Edward and Shari Glazer, Harold Ham, Benjamin Leon Jr., the Letnick family, um, Laura and Isaac Paramanso Foundation, Stephen A. Schwarzerman, Konstantin Goldlove, however you say that, Kelly Loeffler and Jeff Spreacher, Paulo Tomani, Cameron Winklevoss, and Tyler Winklevoss. Interesting how most of these individuals are either billionaires or billion dollar companies. It's almost like Trump is doing things to benefit them, like putting more money in their pockets by giving them tax cuts and government contracts. Oh wait, he is doing that. Isn't that interesting? Everyone in this country is struggling right now, but hey, at least Trump gets his fancy little new ballroom that he can flex on world leaders for like 6 months before he leaves office. In other news, the entire East Wing is now officially demolished. The East Wing of the White House is now officially demolished in its entirety, marking the end of an era for the People's House. This has been done so Trump can build a 90,000-foot ballroom. A 90,000-foot ballroom in its place. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said on ABC News, "With any construction project, changes come. These plans changed when the president heard a counsel from his architects and construction companies who said that in order for the East Wing to be modern and beautiful for many years to come, for it to be truly strong and stable structure, this is the phase that we are now in, was necessary." Remember when Republicans were all pissed off because Obama made a tennis court a basketball court when he was in office? Where the hell is that now when the people's house is being destroyed? Nowhere, because their glorious leader is doing something rather than someone they don't like. The hypocrisy is real. Watch, next Trump is going to wear a tan suit and MAGA is going to say that's the best suit they've ever seen him in. Wouldn't that be hilarious? This should be opposed by all Americans. Not only did he not get permits or permission from Congress or from the people that he is supposed to get permission from, he has destroyed a historical part of our nation and a historical part of the most popular building in the country, which is genuinely insane. Not to mention the renderings of this ballroom look strikingly similar to the ballroom at Catherine's Palace, which is located in St. Petersburg, Russia. But hey, maybe that's just me connecting dots there. In other news, Trump has rejected declaring war on Venezuela, saying he is just going to go in and kill them. Trump has announced that he does not plan to ask Congress to go to war against Venezuela and said that he's just going to kill people instead. Trump said in the Oval Office, "I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country, okay? We're going to kill them. They're going to be, dead, okay?" Not only is this extremely illegal for the president to do, but it is insane. Venezuela has already said that they will fight back against the Trump administration, and now the Trump administration is going to attempt to invade a sovereign nation over what they claim to be drugs. But I think we all know that it is because of oil. This is insane, and it is on grounds for impeachment. The president is not allowed to go to war without congressional approval, yet he's going to do it anyways because he feels like it, which is insane, and something we have already seen him do before, which is a problem. He should be impeached. He should have been removed from office months ago, genuinely. Yet he is still sitting there, and he shouldn't be. He should be gone. This cat is being crazy right now. I don't know what he's doing. He's going in circles on my bed. Anyways, moving on into our ICE segment, the first topic we have today is ICE has allowed people with robbery and domestic violence charges to join the organization. ICE is recruiting agents without putting them through proper vetting processes, according to NBC News. Staff members at ICE's training academy in Georgia found one of the recruits had previously been charged with robbery and battery from a domestic violence incident. They have also found out that recruits aren't submitting fingerprints or background checks. DHS officials have concerns that many people who have not done this have slipped through the cracks and have been approved to become federal agents, which is a massive problem. With what we've seen from ICE agents and how untrained along with how unprofessional they are, this does not shock me in the slightest. I will not be surprised to hear that if this keeps happening, if it does. Their goal is to find 10,000 agents by the end of the year. And it's just not going to be possible if they don't do that. Genuinely, I honestly doubt it would even be possible in the first place. I mean, people are leaving the agency in droves, and they are struggling to employ people in the first place. I mean, ICE is a failing agency. They really are. I would not be shocked if they continue to fail. In other news, Nancy Pelosi has announced that California police are now allowed to arrest ICE agents. California Representative Nancy Pelosi has said that the California state and local authorities now have the power to arrest ICE agents for violating state law while raids are conducted in San Francisco and the Bay Area. The statement from Pelosi read, "While the president may enjoy absolute immunity, courtesy of his rogue Supreme Court, those who operate under his orders do not. Our state and local authorities may arrest federal agents if they break California law and they are convicted. The president cannot pardon them." Pelosi said, "We will not be intimidated by politically motivated fear tactics." This is another massive win for California. I'm glad to see that the world's fourth largest economy is continuously on the up and up again. Truly, it's a great day to be a California when you hear that ICE agents are going to be arrested for breaking the law. You know, if someone breaks the law, they should be prosecuted and arrested, especially ICE agents who are actively creating terror in communities across the country. So I really hope this starts a trend in blue states throughout the country. Maybe Chicago, or I get that's not a state, but you know what I mean. Maybe Oregon. Let's see some action in the other states around the country. Anyways, moving on into our other news segment today, a push is being made to federalize powers to seize control of US elections. According to the New York Times, the Trump administration is looking to make an attempt to hijack the 2026 midterms by invoking a national emergency to justify a federal takeover over the election process. Heather Honey, a former Pennsylvania private investigator, said this authority would come from an investigation into Trump's loss in 2020, which can lead Trump to declare a national emergency. Honey said the Trump administration has additional powers that don't exist right now, going on to say, "We can take these other steps without Congress and we can mandate that states do things and so on," suggesting that Trump would force states to do what he says when it comes to voting. The midterms elections, coming up next year, are going to be the most important in our nation's history. Genuinely, I will not be shocked if this happens because the Trump administration wants to keep their authoritarian grip on this country, and right now they have it in the palm of their hands, and they do not want to lose that, which hopefully can be prevented, especially when it comes to blue states. Blue states, especially California, have had a track record of just saying no to the Trump administration so far, and hopefully that remains to be the case. Without a doubt, 2026 is going to be a very eventful year, and I really hope we make it out of it successfully, because if we don't, a lot of terrible things are going to happen. In other news, an NBA head coach has been arrested by the FBI. This morning, the FBI arrested Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups on charges of participating in an illegal gambling ring with members and associates of the La Cosa Nostra crime families. Billups is now facing federal conspiracy charges, including wire fraud and money laundering. Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier has also been charged as a co-conspirator, and being a player who is charged as well. And I believe I heard that a few other players were charged, but I didn't see any information about that, so I'm not completely sure on that. But this has led to the NBA putting Billups on immediate leave. This was not in my bingo card and was definitely an interesting thing to read when I woke up this morning. But hey, good on them for catching this and not allowing this to continue. I don't watch the NBA, so I have no clue how this will impact either the Trailblazers or the Heat. But good luck to them. Hopefully, both teams are able to figure out, their issues. It's kind of crazy that the head coach of your franchise did this, but I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles. Anyways, the Supreme Court is plans to meet on November 7th to discuss the overturning of gay marriage. The Supreme Court is preparing to reconsider gay marriage on November 7th. The challenge was brought by Kim Davis, a former Kentucky county clerk, who refused to issue marriage licenses to same sex couples, arguing it's against God's authority to let people of the same sex get married. First of all, we are not a Christian nation, so anyone arguing that it is against Christianity for gay people to get married can go fuck themselves. Genuinely. It is not a Christian nation that we live in. We live in a nation where everyone can believe in whatever religion they want, not just Christianity. Ever heard of the separation between church and state? Because it exists here. You can't just dictate that based off Christianity. It is not your choice to control who people love, because love is like human nature. You are not going to prevent people from loving who they love. But also, who the hell cares? Genuinely. If you care so much about someone marrying someone else, you need to grow up, dude. Genuinely. Because for one, it is none of your damn business. It's not. It is none of your business who marries who. But also, like, why should you care so much? There is no reason for you to care so much. It does not impact your life. It does not impact how much money you make. It does not impact what you go through in your day to day. It does nothing to impact you. So if you care that much, you gotta get your shit together, dude. Anyways, moving on into our final topic for tonight. Virginia Democrats have decided to redistrict and pick up 2 to 3 seats in the House. Virginia House Democrats are planning to redistrict the state and pick up 2 to 3 congressional seats for the Democratic Party. Democrats plan to return to the state capitol on Wednesday and plan to take up new maps for the state. Mandria Myers, an executive director of the state's project, said in a statement, "After what is happening in North Carolina and states across the country in taking this procedural step, I believe that they are keeping options on the table to respond to extreme right-wing gerrymandering next year." This is great. And blue states need to combat red states um, to do something to nullify the redistricting that we have seen across this country. If they don't, Trump will continue to control the House, which would be a massive problem. Genuinely, are we going to see a blue wave in the midterm elections? Yes, absolutely. There might even be like the biggest wave of votes for the Democratic side that we've ever seen. Really, there might be, but that doesn't mean that every district is going to flip. So something still needs to be done to prevent the Trump administration from just taking all of these districts and keeping themselves in charge. With that being said, though, hopefully you all enjoyed today's episode. It has definitely been a very interesting day in the news world, that is for sure. But if you're new here, please consider subscribing. All the support is greatly appreciated as we are trying to hit 500 subscribers before the end of the year on YouTube. And if you're on Substack, please also consider subscribing as well. All funds go to me. Get me pay for the things that I need to pay for in college, like my groceries, like clothing, like all of that. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. I truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. With that being said, we're building a political platform here. My goal is to become a politician. So if you're interested in supporting someone who wants to make this country a better place through education, through better immigration rights, through better workers' rights, through free healthcare, all those kinds of things, you should drop a subscribe because that's my goals when I get into office. With that being said, though, thank you everyone for watching today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all